All right, so yeah, why don't we go ahead and start, and we're gonna do what, bill pay, and how should we cut it up?
Okay, let's call the meeting to
Okay,
order
I'll
then.
do,
It being 6:34, we can call the meeting to order. And just do roll call, please.
Aisha, call the roll. Please.
Richard,
Aisha, you're on mute.
Trustee Sweeney,
here?
Trustee Calabona,
Here,
Trustee Jones,
Here.
Trustee McKenzie. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'll do the road district.
Okay, I'll start on the, let's see, the Town Fund 8.
Claire, where do you want to go?
I'll start Town Fund 1. I don't know why I can't, it's, my computer's not letting me join. You know what? I got another idea. Okay.
I'm sorry, Kim, which one are you starting on?
Road and bridge.
Road and Bridge. And the town fund and 5. Oh, I'll start GA. Yeah, I'll do GA.
Maybe Claire can do the payroll. Claire, can you hear that? Dave, can you?
Yeah. Yeah, she heard that. So Claire's gonna do payroll. Okay. I'd say start with payroll. That'd be cool.
Okay.
And I'm gonna leave you on my speakerphone, okay? You have to have the secret password. I don't know. Of course, Saturday, what is it? Saturday is the big blue moon day, so we can call it blue moon as the password. Yeah, it's gonna be, happens
Don't
every
be saying
19
blue moon to me.
Yeah, it happens every 19 years, and we're gonna have a full blue moon on Saturday, which happens every 19 years. So something definitely worth to enjoy.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up, Dave. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Claire.
I'm gonna disappear and go to work.
Oh, let's see.
Am I doing payroll first?
Yes, please, that'd be
Yes,
great.
for any of the, if you can do it for all 3 accounts or whatever,
Okay.
that would be great.
You guys look way better than I do, that's for damn sure.
I can't see
probably should-
anything.
Makeup on or something.
Richard, can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. I just had a question about Barbara Weiner for the legal consultation. I see their rates went up. So that wasn't brought before the board before. I guess it's only the second time she's raised her rates. It's not, I'm not saying it's unreasonable, but it would have been nice to know in advance that, to ask for approval for something like that. It looks like September 1 to August 31st. So is it 850 for the whole? What is that, to be on call for?
Yeah, it's $850 for the whole year for unlimited contacts with any questions related to clients, liability issues, confidentiality issues. And she's very accessible, usually within 24 hours. She responds via email with any kind of questions we have.
Okay, so it's for it's an entire year. That seems like it's reasonable.
Yeah. Her normal rate's usually much higher, but she gives us a lower rate. I think it went up by $50 from 8 to 850.
Yeah, she said that. Okay, so I'm just curious how many phone calls you usually make to her in the course of a year.
Well, probably in the course of a year, it's usually email correspondence, so we have it in writing.
Okay.
Probably easily a dozen, I would say, on average in a given year.
Okay. And I see it's itemized, some of the inquiries we've had, so I do see that.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you for your clarification on that.
welcome.
Okay, I'm going to move on to Town Fund 7.
Okay.
I have a question. Dana, maybe you can help me if, I don't know, Mike, it's regarding 58122. Mike had done a lot of shopping and such, it looks like, for the Federal Credit Union supplies bill. Can you hear me? Dana?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Okay, sorry, I was muted.
I don't know if Mike can comment on this. Was shopping done on October 20th, and it's got like Chicago Dogs baseball game, unforgettable edibles.
Are you
Was
sure-
that event or what? I'm not sure what the,
Are you sure
Okay.
that's Marty Cooks?
That's Marty.
I think that's Marty Cooks.
oh, okay, it's under,
It's probably
it
for
does
his,
say cook, but I thought, okay, hold on.
it's probably for his Recovery Connection program.
Yeah, I guess I thought it was, okay. Yeah, this is the $5,000. You know, it starts out and it says for the $5,190 charges from Mike Saman is on October 20th getting a lot of the COVID supplies. And that's 58121.
Mm-hmm. I see that.
Yes, it does move to 22. 58122. Hold on. This Dana, do you see the 58122 says it's void on the, page 4 of the town fund?
Susan, if I could say something, there was a long list of items under the description, and Sage only lets you put in so many. So in order to get all of the items that were on that payment, we had to print it out so that some of them were void. So then if
Yes,
you,
Kelly?
yes,
I'm
sorry.
not looking, okay, I can't see the screen.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the bill. Okay. So in order to get all of them, you did what?
In order to get all of those items in our accounting software onto, to be able to put the description onto one check, we had to print out many pages and then just void that check. So if you look, I think if you scroll down, I think the scan, let me see. But it's broken out by, we ended up doing, I believe, one total check, but we broke up the description by each person. So that's why it's some of them. So for Saman, if you look for under number 58121, it lists what his description of the items that he purchased and then his receipt.
Yeah.
And then for
So
Cook,
his just totaled $492.
right.
So the other 4,500
Yes. So we wrote,
or
yeah, so one check was written.
492, and then the rest, it looks like, but it's a voided check. That's what I'm confused about. That 58122 has been voided.
Yes, because if you look at the check amount for that 58121 is at $5,000, $190.13. That's the total of all these descriptions. So if you look at Mike Simon's, his amount was $492, and you scroll down, and then it lists Cook.
Then the 4,130. So that's like 4,700 or 4,600.
Okay, and then if you keep scrolling down, then there's Rich Lyons has a charge for $274.52. And then Berman for $70.48, and then Cry for $222. The reason why we had to do it this way is because Metro's the statement came out just as we were getting the board packets together. So the software doesn't allow us to add that many lines of description, and with the time crunch, this is how we were able to put all the description together.
Okay. All right, it's just a lot. It's 4,000, you know, it's a lot of money,
Right, it's a big
different things, because
amount.
COVID's mixed in with this and MailChimp's mixed in. And it's, okay. And what is the dinner for Cry, the Johnny Steakhouse dinner for
That
222?
you would have to ask Assessor Cry, I think, that question.
Well, do we not get a breakout for that? I don't know what it's for.
It should be a
It's
receipt.
for IPA, one course. Oh, so did they have a, they must have had a, I don't know.
Okay. I know she went to a seminar, so that might be for the lunch that she attended. Is it attached with?
It's $222
Oh, that you, yeah, that you
for
would have,
lunch.
you would have to, that I can't answer for her.
I mean, it looks like there's something for $60 for the restaurant, but I don't know. It must be Pequod's Pizza, 49. Desk calendar. Oh, staff meeting, okay.
Dana,
Mhm.
so on the payroll documents that that all of us received, I think I'm missing a page for town fund for the October 16th payroll, because I have the check deposit for Susan Moylan Cry, but I don't have the direct deposit sheet. It looks like the entire page is missing, so I couldn't.
Okay, for October 16th.
Yes. For town fund. So I'll just keep going on the others while you find that for me.
Does everyone, okay, let me see.
It's the first thing that we got from Viesha.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna forward you the payroll and tell me if I'm sending you the right thing. I'm gonna send it over now.
Okay. Would you do me a favor?
Yeah,
Can you send it to my personal email, Claire, CLAIRE @McKenzieMail.MC,
okay.
so that I don't have to forward it?
Is it the one that's usually entitled Payroll and Wire?
Yes.
Okay,
It's missing part of the town fund for 10/16.
and you said to send it to Claire at Mackenzie email?
Yes.
Okay.
Claire@McKenzieMail.com.
Oh, clear.
Dana, do you know what was ordered from 13th Floor Entertainment Group out of Colorado for Marty Cook's group?
is there, can you say that one, tell me again the description?
All it says is general admission Chicago, but it was, so I'm assuming it's something here, obviously, then, not
Right,
in
I mean, I know
Colorado.
they go on couple outings a week, so I'm assuming it was an outing. Is there? Did you want me, I can try
You
to
know,
have.
it would just be nice if at the top of these, like,
a
we
couple more-
actually said, because I don't want 13th floor entertainment is. It is an event of some sort for
Right,
600.
but there's no description on what it is.
Well, I mean, it's an event because at the top of it, it says the credit union users, Marty, 13th floor entertainment, and it's an event. But like, I just like to know, in the
Right.
future, like what that is at the
Okay.
top. Because I can go and look at his report and see and kind of try to guess what was done where,
Right,
but I don't know.
okay. I'll
Yeah.
tell them to be more specific on there,
Yeah.
to write it on there.
Be helpful.
Sure.
I mean, he's got Dunkin' Donuts and GFC and constant contact in that, but the
No, that's vague. I understand. I'll talk, I'll let them know.
yeah, because he's got like 30. I don't know that that's the game, the baseball game, because he spent 1,000 on the game, so I don't know.
Right,
This is 25 people at $32, $32.99 a piece.
okay.
I'm very sorry. I think everybody is missing the page. I'm going to look for it, the original. Okay?
Okay, thanks. Mm-hmm. So Dana,
Mhm.
I might be blind, but I cannot find the road and bridge payroll backup for the October 16th direct deposit.
Okay, I think VA's just checked, I think for October 16th, maybe she left that for all three funds. She's checking right now, and I don't see it either on mine.
Okay, so
So she's-
road and bridge is
Road
missing.
Road and Bridge, yeah, she's checking too, and I
Yeah,
don't
again, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was double-sided, and I have it. I'm going to give it to Dana. She will email to you. Yes, Dana? Can you?
Yeah.
Okay, and then are you gonna tell her about road and bridge?
Road and Bridge. Yeah. Okay. All right, I'm gonna scan them both and send them to you. Give me like a minute.
Okay, I wonder if GA is missing too.
Please, hold on.
I feel bad. It's taking me a lot longer because I keep going back over.
No,
to
I'm doing
see-
Town Fund
Run down,
6.
Scan it.
You know, I keep. This is the same thing. This doesn't look right. Town Fund 6. Looks like the same as 7. Makes no sense.
I have GA for 10/16.
Okay. Okay, Claire, I just sent it. Does anyone else want it? The payroll?
No, Claire's doing the payroll, so we're good.
Okay, I sent you
Yeah.
all three.
I
all
mean, you
three
can send
funds.
it because I do want it, but we should all have it.
Okay, you know what? Let me forward it to everyone, just so you guys have it.
Okay.
Okay, I did Town Fund 876. I'm moving on to Town Fund 5. But we got 5 other town funds to go.
And general assistance, is there only a general assistance 1, 2, and 3? I seem to have stopped at check number 53027.
1, 2, 3, just 3.
Just 3?
Yes.
Was for
Dave,
some
can you move on to Town Fund?
the reason why is on my sheets, I've got checks 53027 through to 53036 that I don't see. That's the very tail end. So I'm wondering if my general assistance 3 didn't pick it up. Or am I missing something?
Hey, Dana?
Yes.
I still can't find 1016 for town fund.
General assistance.
Did I not just send it to you? Did
I'm
you-
sorry, it's 4. GA, it's 4.
Yeah, so I need GA4.
Did
Can
I,
you,
did you get the, did you get an email from me, Claire?
Yeah, and it's 29 pages.
No. I just scanned you, hold on one second. I sent it 4 minutes ago and it's, for 1016 for all 3 funds. Did it come through?
Oh, I have it. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. That's okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
How are we doing on GA4?
You can do GA, well, I don't know about GA.
I didn't get a GA4. That's what I'm kind of waiting on. If you've got it there.
Who are you asking, Dave? I'm doing town fund.
Aisha?
Okay.
He's gonna go check in email.
Okay.
Okay, I just finished the payroll and the IMRF deposits. So, it sounds like town fund is still,
Yeah, we have
And
1
you-
through 4 of town fund to do. So if somebody wants to do that, I'm on 5. I'm working on 5 and I did 6, 7, and 8. So if you can do town fund 1 through 4, whoever can, maybe Dave can help with that.
Maybe I can start one while I'm waiting on GA4.
I just did send it, Dave, so you
So
should.
you sent it? Oh, good, good. Thank you. Don't mess with that.
Okay, Claire, which town fund are you on?
1,
Okay, I'll do 4. I'll start 4, but somebody's got to do 2 and 3 after that.
and remember, a lot of it is payroll, so I did the payroll.
Okay.
And the IMRF. Okay, I'm done with Town Fund 1.
Okay, can you look at 2? That might be the payroll. I don't know if 2 or 3 is. 2 and 3 have to be done. I'm working on 4.
Okay.
I'll work on 3.
Thank you, Viesha. I was able to finally get that to download and it looks just fine. And then Dana, if you could remind me, it's catastrophic insurance through Allied Benefit Systems. Inc., that's our insurance through GA. That
Right.
covers claims from GA recipients,
Oh,
medical.
Right, so that, correct, medical. That's exactly what it is. If we have to pay for medical for any GA clients above and beyond what will cover their own medical. We've actually never really, I don't believe, had to cover anything, but we do have it just in case.
Got it. Okay. Because there is an obligation for GA to do that.
Yes.
Thank you. Have I stalled long enough so I don't have to do any more work, or is there more work to do?
I'm finishing up 2. And I think Kim is doing
Kim's got
3.
3.
Yes. I just finished 4.
So I think that's it.
Did you finish, Claire? And Kim?
No, I'm almost finished.
Oh, Carrie Lynn just got on, right? Or she was on?
He's on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
I'm done too.
Yep, everybody's done.
I'm done here.
Yes.
Okay. Is Laura not joining us, or?
No,
No.
Laura's not joining us.
Okay. All right, well, I guess I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order then at this point. Being 7:32, I'm calling this meeting of the Maine Township Board to order. We will go ahead and read the language in about COVID, and that is this meeting will be conducted by audio or video conference without physically present quorum of the Maine Township Board because of a disaster declaration related to COVID-19 public health concerns affecting the township pursuant to Senate Bill 2135. The township supervisor has determined that an in-person meeting at the township building with all participation is not practical or prudent because of the disease. Township officials and legal counsel will not be physically present at the township building if that is unfeasible due to the disaster. Public participation or physical public attendance at the township building may be limited or not feasible, so alternative arrangements for public access to hear the meeting are available here. And the address is https://us02web.zoom.us/875. I'm sorry, 857-512-23814. To obtain password to connect the meeting, please call Richard Lyons at 224-257-4869 prior to 6 p.m. On October 27th. This meeting will also be audio or video recorded and made available to the public as provided by law. Okay. So meeting's been called to order. Let's go ahead and do the Pledge of Allegiance.
There we go.
If everybody could stand. Got it? Okay.
Pledge allegiance to the
flag
flag
of the United States
of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and then we'll go ahead and call the roll. Highway Commissioner Kazmierczak. Assessor Moylan Cry. Believe is here. Clerk Giolama's here. Supervisor Marask, not here. Trustee Jones.
Here.
Trustee McKenzie.
Here.
Trustee Carabota.
Here,
And Trustee Sweeney.
Here.
I move to nominate Claire McKenzie to run the meeting.
Second,
Thank you. We have to
Having
vote.
a First and a second, I'll go ahead and call the roll on the nomination. We have Trustee Jones,
yes.
Trustee McKenzie,
Yes.
Trustee Carabota,
Yes.
and Trustee Sweeney.
Yes.
Okay. Clerk McKenzie, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you. Just trying to find my agenda here. I don't have my normal desk. So my papers are on my lap, so hopefully. Sorry, guys. We didn't have a break in between.
We'll give you a break, Claire.
Okay, found it. Okay. So, first thing on our agenda is the approval of the minutes of the September 22nd, 2020 bill pay review. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve bill pay for September 22nd, 2020.
Second,
Can you call the roll?
Okay. Trustee Jones,
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie,
Yes.
Trustee Carabota,
yes.
and Trustee Sweeney.
Yes.
Next is the approval of the minutes of the September 22nd, 2020 board meeting. Can I get a motion?
Move to approve the minutes of the September 22nd, 2020 board meeting. Waive the reading.
Second.
Any discussion?
The only discussion I have is relative to my desire to have attachments and minutes that are unapproved in the board packets for people to be able to review with us, along with us, when they're reviewing the board packet and participating in the board meeting. So, for example, because I've got two resolutions, one for the public participation and a second one in the second set of minutes for the elected officials' salaries, new salaries proposed. So when we had talked about our board policies before, this is just a generic comment that I want to make. And I had requested that we put board packets online, and we approved that. The intent upon approving that was to include everything that we would get as elected officials. We get our board packets on Thursday or Friday the week before. So I would like to, have the practice that we talked about implemented, which is to have the board packets that are given to us as elected officials should also be what the board packet is online. And when I have asked for a record to be made and to have something included in the board packet, that's what I'm referring to, that I want it included in the board packet, so that for the next board meeting, people can see what the minutes are and whatever attachment we might have.
Are you trying to clarify something in those minutes, or are you just making a general?
I'm doing two things. I'm making a point on the record, just to let you know, in those minutes we just approved, there was the public participation so that people could see that. But right now, we don't have that for people to review if they had not participated in a previous meeting. So in the future, I'm also, and I guess we could have this as a new discussion item, but I don't know that we need it then. I just want to make sure that we do include the minutes that are going to be approved so that people can follow along, for the sake of transparency and openness and You know, just so that people can be informed and know what we're going to be approving. Because right now, people sitting in the audience don't know what we're necessarily approving, other than we have minutes of the past. So
So can I clarify? So I just want to make sure I understand. So you want us to put in the minutes before they're approved?
yes, I want the audience, the residents to be able to have the same kind of board packet we have
Okay.
for the board packet online.
Carrie Lynn, are we able to do that?
You have the ability to put draft documents on. Most public bodies don't do that because then sometimes there's confusion if there are changes in the documents ahead of time, but you can do it. It's not illegal, yes.
Well, if we do it, I would just suggest that we put that watermark, the draft watermark on the unapproved or subject or pending or
I
whatever.
agree.
Because something could end up in the record before approval doesn't quite reflect what that trustee or that board member had actually said.
Right.
And once it's posted, it's a problem. That's why I would have a difficulty with it.
I agree.
I don't see the downside, except that if they're not approved, it doesn't really help the public to see them when we're the ones trying to approve them in advance of putting them up on our website as the actual minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, that could cause confusion, misquoting and that type of thing.
I would, as the clerk, I would agree. I mean, we tend to change the minutes quite a bit. So, I mean, for clarity's sake, I think it's always best to put the approved minutes up, but I mean, that's just.
Yeah,
my opinion.
I would agree with that.
Well,
Yeah.
we
I
could
do
take a
too,
vote,
because
but
they
the
can
problem
always
is
look at the video from the last meeting if they're wanting to see something versus seeing pending minutes.
Correct.
Well, I guess the only point is that, for people to be able to follow along, they don't know what we're approving now. And when there is specific things, which I have said before, I want this included in the minutes and the board packet. And I've said that, to be on the record, it's really not included at the juncture that it needs to be, so that people can review it in the board packet and know what's actually been approved. So I guess we have a choice, and maybe now is not the time to talk about it, but we should, if we
Should
don't
that
have an
be a
agreement, we can
policy
take a vote on it
item?
later. But I do think we should have the right, when somebody is requesting something to be in the board packet, that's an automatic, because if a trustee requests it, that it be put in, whether or not it's part of the board minutes or not. If we want to, based on the reservation that trustee Carabota just said, and Pete, perhaps, I don't know. But I would like when we request it being in the board packet, that it be in. So.
Then if I could address something on page 3 when we get a chance.
Okay.
On page 3, the second paragraph, we're talking about resolution 2020-3, and then we amended, it shows an amendment from 43,500 down to 22,000. I'd like a line in there that would clarify, which is on the record, that amendment was made temporarily while we adjust the budget for the additional 21,000 to be put into resolution 2020-4, which I then completed and has been presented to the board for entry. Back on
You want
October
that change then,
27th.
Dave?
Yeah, so if we could have a change that says that reduction 43,000 to 22,000, subject to presenting resolution 2020-4 for the other 21,000 and the adjustment to the budget to allow for it.
Was that what the actual motion was that you made?
Right. The
Yeah,
actual
I don't
motion.
remember that being the actual motion. I mean,
No.
I don't remember it being temporary.
The actual motion was resolution 2020-3. 2020-3, I came in looking for 43,500 to go to the charities. At that time, that was basically approved by the board, or it was approved by the board. However, we ran into a problem because there had to be an adjustment made to the budget to allow for it. So for that time period, we were able to go ahead and amend down to 22,000. And then we were going to adjust the budget to allow for the other 21,000. And I was to prepare resolution 2020-4 after the meeting and submit that. And I submitted that, I did that and I submitted it on October 27th.
Okay, so could we do the resolution as is and then say
Subject to.
You guys, I don't remember that being the case.
Neither
I
do
mean,
I.
No, what
I
happened,
thought that we talked about it, but that we would have to do an amendment that we weren't prepared to do because it was more than just rearranging or the line item adjustment or whatever. Do you remember that? Like we
Yeah, it was
decided this was it.
it was an amendment, they decided that we were able to do 22,000 of the 43,000 now. Subject
Half the year was
to,
over. Half the year was over, that's why I think.
Right.
yeah, subject to additional time being needed to make adjustment to the budget. And that's on the record. So on the record.
It's in the minutes.
It's in the minutes, yeah. So we're supposed to make adjustment to the budget and I was to present resolution 2020-4,
But
which I did.
if I could say something, I mean,
Yes,
okay, so we adjusted it to 22,000 because we couldn't find that additional money, the whole entire 43,000 in the budget. And, we try to give 500,000 was our target last year. But we have done 2 agency funding meetings already, and we're about to do the third. Instead of doing another resolution, why don't you just add that amount in your estimate or what you would like to approve for the new agency funding?
What the
rather
record,
than-
what the record will show is we addressed that. The concern is that any monies that are going to the agencies, they're not going to see until January. That's why this additional resolution for 43,005, resolution 2020-3 was brought. 2020-3 was approved until we ran into, do we have to make adjustments to the budget to allow for it? Then what was happened was, yes, we have to make adjustments to the budget to allow for it by the next meeting. And I was to go ahead and present 2020-4 to pick up the other 21,000. That's
Right.
what happened. That's what's on the record.
Yeah,
Right.
but
So,
it's already November and they wouldn't get the money till January. Why not just include it in the new agency funding? I mean, we're giving them.
this is October and they're supposed to get the money today. That's why I prepared the
Right,
resolution.
but they're
and
getting the
gave it.
22,000 and
Right.
this is the second time we've raised it. And again,
The
we
40
have to have our agency funding numbers in soon. So why not just increase what you would give for agency funding and they'll get it in January?
The need
we have
for
to-
it.
this is about approving the minutes and what was actually said, not
What was
what.
actually said, what was actually said in the
Right.
in the minutes meeting, and if you go back to the record was the board approved the 43.5 as I had proposed in 2020-3. Now it was a matter of getting it paid and getting it paid now. And
No,
we addressed that question by saying, okay, we can do 22,000 now. By the next meeting, we have to make an adjustment to the budget entries. And I am to go ahead and give out in draft 2020-4 and get it in. And I did that the following day. So
excuse me.
that's what the record needs to show.
I don't remember it that way. I remember us.
You have to go back to the
discussing
tape. You have to go back to the
43.
tape.
Can I speak now? I remember us talking about the 43.5 and we couldn't afford it. We couldn't find that full amount in the budget. So we decided to bring it to 22,000. That's the way I recall it.
Dave, I'm looking at my notes from 9/22. And, I was the chair of that meeting, so I didn't take copious notes, but in my notes, I did go through, what we discussed. And you amended your resolution because otherwise we would have had to transfer line items of our budget and we weren't
Right.
doing that. We decided not to do that. So I don't have anything in my notes that say that you were going to come up with a new resolution, but again, I didn't review the tape for this meeting. So if you're saying, do you have like on the video, what minute it is? Because we're gonna have to look at this, because that's not my recollection either.
I agree with you, Claire.
Can I make a suggestion that we defer this to our next board meeting, which is a week away, to
Yeah.
approve the minutes, so that we have a chance to look at that and, specify?
Yes. So
Dave, we can't hear you. You're muted.
And I'd also like, it's a very good idea, and I can go ahead and give you the point. I'd also like to have my resolution 2020-4 on the agenda for that 5th meeting, November 5th meeting.
Yeah, so that November 5th meeting is agency funding, but if we can start it off with that brief approval, Carrie Lynn, can we do that for the agency funding meeting?
Excuse me, I just wanna say something that 2020-4 and 5, it's already taken, so we already, those numbers. So if you have another resolution, there will be 6.
Okay,
Okay,
that could be adjusted.
20-6.
yeah. And then what I'll do then is I'll resubmit it as 2026-6, and then we can have it on the November 5th meeting, and I'll show the section of the tape.
I think it would make more sense to do it for November 10th when we're having the special meeting, wouldn't it? Just so, because I won't be at the November.
Agency funding meeting doesn't get. What was
Right.
that?
Yeah, we can either way, as long as, because I just want to get the money to the charities. That's what they need it now. That's my
Yeah.
concern.
And Dave, if you find that video reference early, you can email it to us. We don't have to.
Yeah,
have a
that'll do.
discussion That way, we don't
I
all have
agree
to
with-
find it.
So Pete, you're saying we should do the 10th, you think, or not the 5th?
Whatever, I mean, if Carrie Lynn says it's okay for the 5th, that's fine. It's
Because
just.
I'll do it,
I would
I'll
do
be
it,
real short. I'll be real short on the 5th. That would be great if we do
It's
the
fine by me, yeah, whatever works.
I agree. I want to get the money to the agencies, but I don't recall the meeting going that way. So it's the question with making sure that the minutes are accurate.
Gotcha. Okay, thank
So
you.
we are gonna make it for the next meeting then, for the agency funding meeting.
I think we should do it on the 5th. I think we could do it on the 5th.
Okay,
And I'll change that 4 to a 6 and get it to you, Dana.
Thank you.
November 5th.
Thank you.
Okay, great.
so we need to vote on that then, or put it off. I mean, just
Yeah,
Yeah, there was a motion and a
table
second,
it.
I believe.
Motion to
correct?
table it till the next board meeting on the 5th.
okay.
Do I have a
I'd
second?
second that.
We have to call
We
the
have to
roll
vote.
on that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay,
trustee Jones,
Yes,
trustee McKenzie,
yes.
trustee Carabota,
Yes.
trustee Sweeney.
yes.
Okay, next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the October 1st, 2020 agency funding special meeting.
motion to approve the minutes of October 1st, 2020 agency funding special meeting.
Second,
Thank you. Any discussion? Can you call the roll?
Trustee Jones,
Yes,
trustee McKenzie,
Yes.
trustee Carabota,
Yes.
trustee Sweeney.
yes.
Great. Okay, next is the approval of the minutes of the October 7th, 2020 agency funding special meeting. Any
Motion to approve agency
Oh, sorry.
funding. A motion to approve the agency funding special meeting on October 7th of 2020.
second,
I'm seeing was that the 14th?
The October 7th. I second. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I don't see a packet for the minutes for October 7th.
They were in our packet right behind October 1st meeting.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes, you're right. I got it. You're right. I'm jumping the gun here. Okay.
Any discussion?
no,
Can you call the roll, Pete?
Trustee Jones,
yes,
trustee McKenzie,
Yes.
Trustee Carabota,
Yes.
trustee Sweeney.
Yes.
Okay, next is the approval of the minutes of the October 14th, 2020 special board meeting.
Second,
Any discussion?
Yes, I would just note again that on that particular board meeting attachment minutes, that I do have the salary study information provided by Dana, as well as the resolution that I presented on elected official salary, just as a notation. That's it.
So are you saying, Susan, that you'd like the items that you wanted attached to the minutes attached to our copies in our packet as well?
Well, they are attached to our copies in our packet, in our minutes, but they're not online for people to be able to see them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's all I wanted to comment on.
Okay. Anybody else?
Trustee Jones,
yes.
trustee McKenzie,
Yes.
trustee Carabota,
Yes.
trustee Sweeney.
Yes.
Okay, next is the approval of the general assistance expenditures. Can I have a motion?
Move for approval of payroll for paydays October 2, 2020 and October 16, 2020. General assistance checks number 52973 through check number 53036 in the amount of $52,655.77.
Second,
Any discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Gialamas, can you call the roll, please?
Trustee Jones,
yes.
trustee McKenzie,
Yes.
trustee Carabota,
Yes.
trustee Sweeney.
Yes.
Next is the approval of the road district expenditures. May I get a motion?
Motion to approve payroll for pay dates of October 2nd, 2020 and October 16, 2020, and road district checks number 21537 through check number 21573 in the amount of $60,620.36.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Gialamas, may you call the roll?
Trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee McKenzie,
Yes.
trustee Carabota,
Yes.
and trustee Sweeney.
Yes.
Next is the approval of the general town fund expenditures. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve payroll for pay dates of October 2nd, 2020 and October 16, 2020, and general town fund checks number 58061 through check number 58152 in the amount of $321,081.94.
Second, any discussion? Hearing none, Clerk Gialamas, can you call the roll?
Trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee McKenzie,
Yes.
trustee Carabota,
Yes.
trustee Sweeney.
Yes.
Okay, next, we're moving on to new business, which we have none. And is there any public
My phone is somebody
participation?
else.
I would just say under new business, we don't have anything on the agenda, but I would like, to give thought to what I've already brought up here. And, going forward, when I request that something be on the board packet, that be on the future board packet. If we don't want to include the minutes, as a draft copy, I guess that's, for more discussion.
By the way, somebody's phone is by their computer. If they can move it away from the computer, I keep hearing it beeping or vibrating.
Yeah, I hear that too.
Can I just make a clarification, because we don't normally do that? So if a board member produces a document at the board meeting, that's not necessarily in the board packet.
We hear that ring.
Then you want me to go ahead and include that as if it was in the board packet? Is the board in agreement with
Requested
that?
to be, because I know it was even in the minutes that we approved that I had requested it be in the board packet itself.
Right, but we don't normally do that. So I just want to make sure that the board is okay with that.
Yeah, I think if any trustee
Okay.
requests it, that's
That'd be fine.
to be included. Yeah.
Wait, can you clarify that one more time? I mean, because is this only things that are brought up at the meeting, or are they also items that you decide in between meetings that we don't discuss?
No, it's brought up at the meeting that you would like to include it in the board packet for the subsequent meeting. Because it's going to be part of the minutes either way when it's requested to be part of the minutes, but, and I'd like to see the draft minutes, but, you know, I think that's more transparent. And if there's changes, we all make changes to, you know, minutes, you know, then they're only draft until they're approved. But, you know, if people have reservations about that, I just think we see it, the people don't see it. And I think, you know, if we're talking about transparency and like being accountable, that we
Well,
should.
should we
Like,
put
but
this on the next agenda? Because, I mean, it's not on tonight's agenda, and that way we can.
Hash it
Yeah.
out.
I just don't think it needs a vote. I think it's just, but if you think so.
Well, isn't it a policy decision? Because like it's policy whether we put a draft of minutes in.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so we'll put it on
And
the
along
next
that,
month's agenda.
along that line too, all the board policies that we worked on for months and months, we talked about putting that on the website. And I know I emailed you that this afternoon because I haven't been able to find it on the website itself, like where people can access what our board policies are. And that those need to be put on the website.
It's something really simple, real simple access, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
so we can search for it and find it.
yeah. That should be easy enough.
That's fine.
Okay, so we are gonna add that to the board agenda for November then?
Sure.
Okay, that way we can all be ready to talk about it.
The regular November board meeting.
I'm sorry you went in and out.
Sorry.
We could put it on the 10th, on the November 10th special meeting, because that's not a agency funding meeting.
Right, so the 10th,
Sure.
Okay.
okay.
Okay,
I will make one other comment. I'm disappointed because the last meeting, you know, under new business, we were told that there was so much to discuss for this meeting that there's no way we could do the elected official's salary and have a vote. And I had amended the motion that
Right.
Laura had made to adopt the exact same salaries that were the last 4 years. And so I made a specific motion to amend it with a dollar amount for each elected official. And that got seconded and it didn't get voted on. And I didn't agree with the decision not to vote on something after it was a motion and a second to
Mhm.
amend. So that being said, you know, one of the discussion points we had at that last meeting was that we had so much on the agenda for the next meeting. We had to have a special meeting on November 10th to be able to address what we needed to address in just adopting the elected official compensation program. And yet we have nothing under new business. And we have one item under old business. It's been put off like 4 times. So I've never, since I've been here for 3.5 years, seen as light a board packet as we have now. We've had nothing on here. So I don't understand why that happened, and I can't have Supervisor Morass comment to that, but it's disappointing, and I think it's not an efficient use of time or taxpayers that don't know that might want to come. You know, I haven't seen it posted yet that we're even having that special meeting. So I don't know.
I have to join in with that. I know that it's quite a challenge for me to have that additional meeting. I was really hoping that we could have just wrapped that up tonight, and it looks like maybe we could have addressed that. So we got to kind of really tighten up on all the special meetings because it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge.
Yeah, and if something freed up where it was light, we could have put it under old business and taken a vote and put it on the agenda on Friday. So I don't know.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what was supposed to be on the agenda that didn't make it, but I mean, we're here and this is all we have and this is what we told the public we'd have, so.
I know.
think we have to-
No, I'm just
Forward
asking
and-
if there was any, maybe Dana has some clarification. Do you know why that was? No? Okay.
I wasn't at the board meeting, unfortunately. I wasn't feeling well, so I can't comment on that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So is there anybody who would like to participate publicly? Anybody in our audience? Hi, Roger.
Hi, Earl.
Hi, Earl. Okay.
Alicia.
Hi, Alicia. Okay, I think that's it, other than now old business, which is the discussion and vote of public participation policy as presented by trustee Sweeney. We should have both the current public participation rule for our Maine Township Board meeting and Susan Sweeney, trustee Sweeney's proposed rule to review.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the rules for public participation
Second,
as presented.
second.
You mean to amend what the current rule is?
Yes, yes,
To adopt the new over the old, right?
to adopt new rules.
Over the old, right? So they'll supersede the old.
And David, you seconded it correctly,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, thank you.
Is there any discussion?
Yes. Go ahead, Carrie Lynn.
Well, so in paragraph 3 here, it says public comment speaker shall state their name and address and spell their name if requested. We can't require that. There's a public access counselor.
Oh, you noted that
right.
before. Yeah, you noted that before.
So we have to
That
take.
was my comment.
right? The name is okay, but the address is not to be on, right?
We can request them to state that, but we can't require them.
Let's just change it to request. Yeah, I could,
Okay.
I remember Carrie Lynn, you pointed that out before. I remember. that.
Yes.
Would they have to state that they're a Maine Township resident, though?
Good question.
No, it's
If they're
not,
making
it's not
comments?
required. I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't know if you have a separate set of public comments related to public hearings. If you're having a public hearing and the hearing has to do with something impacting a special region, then it would be pertinent to know where someone lives. But otherwise,
I will just,
we can request, we can ask people if they live in the township.
okay, because we can strike that, and just say people can.
We can request, yeah, instead of require.
So the way it states right now, it says public comments, speakers shall state their name and address and spell their name if requested.
Shall state their name, spell their name, and we can, if they wish to, provide their address. I think that would cover
What
Carrie
Lynn's
Lynn,
saying
I
is
think.
not just the address, but even the name is not.
No, I think Carrie Lynn said that the name's fine, but we can't require them to give their address. Is that correct, or am I wrong?
There hasn't been a ruling on the issue of the name,
Okay.
but at the address there has been.
Let's
And
say, hey,
in paragraph number 2, it says public participation will be noted on the agenda in 2 locations. But then if you read afterwards, it's more than 2 because it's after the approval of the expenditures and then after every agenda item.
Yeah.
Yes.
And old and new business.
we can strike out the 2.
So the intent to that, and we could, make it a little clearer. And I do have other board rules. I have the old board rules. I could do a share screen. I also have.
No, all we have to do is strike the word 2.
Well, I wanted to ask about
Yes.
how this number 2 is going to work, because I think that it would take a lot more time doing it this way than the way we have it structured now. And I understand why, I think the reason why you are proposing it this way is so that the discussion from our public participants is closer in time, or, closer in time to the relevant discussion that the board has. But I think that it would be, they would have to sit and wait a long time And I think it would be disjointed for us to keep going back and forth between our discussion and public participation. And I just want to propose maybe, I mean, I have to like get the wording right, but maybe it should just be before each big section of the agenda, like before new business for all of the new business topics and before old business for all of the old business topics. Kim?
I agree with you. I think that would unduly extend the meetings, and it's a solution to a problem that we don't have. And I agree that people will have to wait before the agenda item comes up, and our meetings are long as it is. And everybody has access to what the agenda items are going to be during the meeting. And so that's the reason we put public participation where it is, so that people can verbalize what they have, knowing what's on the agenda. And, you know, if they choose to stay longer, you know, to see the outcome, that's fine. But I just think that it will cause the meetings to be very long, and it's not necessary. We don't have any complaints. People are, of course, welcome to always publicly participate, and they have access to all the materials basically that we have prior to the meeting, so they can prepare themselves. And so I would tend to agree with Trustee McKenzie.
Well,
Yes, Trustee Sweeney.
the intent of making a change was a couple of reasons. One, we have had public participation as noted on this agenda. Had we had new business, public participation is item number 11, and it's coming after new business, after we've taken votes. And that has happened before, number one. So if we don't include public participation and voice to people, give voice to people prior to a vote, that seems that they're not part of the process. Number two, when we do have multiple agenda items, as with City Council and the library, if citizens wish to speak on an agenda item, they'll be recognized by the supervisor at that time, and comments can be taken at that point, as they say in the Park Ridge agenda. And there's two places. The reason why I denoted two places was one, after if there's non-agenda items that citizens wish to raise, they could do that at the first public participation point, which would be after expenditures. The second participation point is really, it was intended to be at whatever point a new agenda item comes on. So if there is, you know, something that people want to voice a concern about before discussion, they would have that opportunity on that agenda item. So they don't have to, for example, it took us whatever, 40 minutes to get through, you know, the minutes and the, you know, approval of the minutes and the expenditures. They could come and show up, you know, later for that particular agenda item and do that. And we don't have to continue having them participate, but I thought it was really nice, and I expressed this before when I joined into a library board meeting. There was discussion, it went to the audience, it came back to for more discussion at the board between members. And then they asked if there was anyone else that had something to say, you know, and offered another opportunity. I've had that happen at city council meetings under Mayor Dave Schmidt, where he went back to the audience. He's the one that started that. And that's why I thought that's much more participative and open and transparent in the government. It would allow people to actually, you know, be part of the meeting. So, you know, I read something that Supervisor Marask had said that, you know, she hasn't seen much public participation, whatever. Maybe this is why. Maybe we'd be more, you know, apt to have people be involved. It's their government, and that's why I'm looking for a change from what we previously had. I have access to put any of this up on the screen if you want to, and do a share screen with either, you know, our current policy that I'm proposing, or the one that we currently we have right now in place, or the Park Ridge one. So we could put that up if we want to change the verbiage of it.
Well,
you know.
before you do that though, maybe the board should just kind of discuss what So if the issue is that people are not being able to speak prior to the agenda items, then why don't you just move public comment up to the beginning of the meeting? For
That's
all items?
exactly what I was
That's
gonna
what
just
I was gonna
suggest.
say too.
Yes,
Yeah.
why don't we just move it up on the agenda?
Well, that's what I
Yeah.
did do. That's what I said
No,
right after
I mean,
expenditures.
Just move public comment in the,
At the beginning of the
closer
meeting?
to the beginning of the meeting, rather than change
Yeah.
all the rules.
Dave,
people can-
something?
But I think if we preclude people from participating on a specific agenda item when it comes up, you know, I mean,
But they
No.
could make their comments still at the beginning of the meeting. And that
Correct.
way, people don't have to stick around for the whole meeting either. If
Yeah, our
Because-
meetings are so long, or at least they have been.
but
Right.
why deny them the right to, if they choose to come in and let's say it's whether it's on Zoom or in person and they want to participate just because something's coming up with the budget or something's coming up with, you know, an abatement or whatever. They want to come for that. You know, it seems like we have that last in the agenda. It starts at 9 o'clock. I agree with you, Carrie Lynn. They don't typically want to stay for that, but at least they could plan that I wouldn't stay either if I knew I couldn't participate. And the only time I could say something was at the very beginning of a meeting and
But
never
if-
have that option to participate when the agenda item came up. That's
But they
not
have
the way
the-
City Hall does it. You know, I mean,
But
Well,
they have the
why don't,
ability
for
to-
example,
yeah.
right now, Roger Schubert, who's an alderman, is on, you know, in City Hall. He has no right now under public participation. He missed his chance to comment on this and have some comment as we're discussing this. And I think he
But-
should
But
have
he
the,
he
knew
could've.
that we were gonna discuss it, so he
Right.
could have, I mean, if he had
Right.
something to say, he could have discussed it.
I
exactly.
agree, Claire. I'm not saying he, you know, I agree. He could see that on the agenda. But I'm
So
saying after.
may
we
I
have-
make a comment?
Yes.
So why don't we try moving it up on the agenda and see how it goes for a couple meetings? And then if, you know, if Susan doesn't like it, we can revisit it. But I have no problem with moving it up on the agenda before new business or in the beginning of the meeting. I think that makes sense, but changing the entire rules does not make sense to me. And the meetings are always transparent. And in fact, we've been complimented by many people about how transparent we are. And people, of course, are always welcome to do any public comment. It's just, you know,
Wait,
as all
you're
meetings are
saying that?
structured,
Let her finish, Susan, hold on.
people are always welcome to comment. And that's why we have public participation. And I think it makes sense to move it up on the agenda. I agree with that, but changing the entire rules and structure of it does not make sense to me.
Okay, Susan, did you have something? Because Dave
Well,
has.
we have a motion in a second, and I said that I would strike that one, you know, comment and just say, so I think we should take a vote on it. We've had.
So
this-
then can I amend the
But
Well,
motion?
Dave, hold on a second. Dave had
Um,
his hand up. I still have something. So,
Okay.
no, we can't take a vote yet. We're still.
Yeah, I
discussing.
mean, we could
But
have
can
amendments.
can I amend the motion
Well,
instead?
now, let me do this. This is really, really simple, and it's fantastic because of everybody's input. It's really simple. When we start, there should be a couple public comment portion. At the end, we should be critiqued. That would be a public comment portion at the end, because we work for the people, okay? When a matter comes up that we're discussing, we're going to vote on, each matter, there should be, okay, is there any comment from the public? Because yes, things are on the computer and they can look things up, but there are a lot of times where people are going to come in, and sometimes us board members do it too, where we're not necessarily reading everything 10 days in advance, and they're going through and something comes up on the agenda and a thought triggers that they think is, which is very important, they want to convey it. So it's real simple. You have public participation in the beginning, then each item that we're discussing, we just say, by the way, now is an opportunity for public participation before the board makes a decision, so anyone can speak up. Also, historically, over the last 4 years, I really haven't seen 165 million people lining up for public participation. So with public participation, it goes very quickly, and I believe we also limited it to 3 minutes. So I don't think it's anything overly burdensome. Yes, we're very transparent, but the people need to know that they have an opportunity to speak up and participate. And when we're addressing that particular item, before we decide on that item. If they don't want to stick around for that item and they want to go home, that's up to them, or they want to zoom us out, that's up to them. But we should give them the option before we make a decision on anything significant. By the way, is there any additional public comment? It's very simple.
Kim, you had your hand up.
So can I amend the motion?
Yes.
And
Well, I had already said that
like
I
to
would
amend the
strike,
motion.
I had
but
already
I'd
said
like
that I
to
would strike 3 and
That's fine, Susan, but I'm talking right now.
yeah,
I
but
would like
prior
to
to you
amend the-
amending, I had already made one amend that.
Well, I
on that-
want to make an amendment to your amendment then to just simply, instead of adopting this, to move the public comment and public participation further up on the agenda after the expenditures before new business.
That's not enough.
Are you saying to keep the old rules? And
Yes,
just move up? Okay, can we go side by side on the screen then? Susan, you said you could share those.
New rule for,
So my problem with this
can you
is
see
that
this one?
not yet. I don't mind people giving us, commentary and participating and asking questions or, putting ideas on the table, but it's the same people that are going to speak at the beginning and then are going to want to speak again. And how do we keep track of that? And what do we do? Do we tell them they have 3 minutes and they can split it between when, before the agenda item and then during the agenda item? I mean, that's a lot to keep track of. And I'm not sure if there's a lot of pickup in that. I mean, do we want to keep it instead of public participation at the beginning if it's about an agenda item, that they wait until it's new business or old business? I mean, our meetings are extremely long, and if I had to critique them, I would say that they're pretty chaotic. And I don't think that going back and forth to public participation will help make our meetings more organized and less chaotic. So I would like to see how moving it to, if not just the beginning, to the beginning, because I agree with you, Susan, that people should be able to participate before an item is discussed and voted on by us. But I really don't think it's necessary to have public participation throughout the entire meeting. I think it makes it very disjointed and more chaotic. So I have not been to a Park Ridge Council meeting, so I can't comment on how that flows. And I don't know what their meetings are like, but I do know what our meetings are like. And I just can't imagine that that would be an improvement to our meeting.
I agree.
And is there anything else other than where the public participation is and how often between your rules and the current rules?
This is the city councils, the Park Ridge City Councils meeting. And if you scroll down here, so this is where it says, can you see under 5, citizens wishing to speak on an action item on the agenda will be recognized by the mayor when considering. Comments from the audience will be taken after the report of the committee chairman and questions from the council, but before debate by the city council. Citizens wish to be heard on items not included on the formal agenda will be recognized after the reports of the city officials under the agenda headed citizens wishing to address the council on non-agenda items. Candidates for effective elective office who wish to address the city shall do so. Okay, never mind that. So
I like that. That's good.
So they have to wait till the whole meeting is over.
No, that's not what that says.
Yes, you didn't let me finish, Dave. So if you have a comment that you want to make that's not on the agenda, you have to wait until the end of the meeting to make that.
Yeah, I don't see
That
how
could be
that's
very
not-
long. Right. I don't
Yeah.
understand how that.
I
would
like
be
it at the beginning so they don't have to wait so long. I do see the benefit of at least trying the ability to have public participation at the beginning of big changes in our agenda, like new business, old business.
Yeah.
But
Right.
for every single agenda item, I don't know if that's necessary. I mean, I
I
think we
agree.
remember comments.
And he said something about an action item. I like that term, action item. You know, before there's something that we're going to take a vote on, something that we're going to make a decision on, there should be an ability of the people to just say, by the way, is there any other public participation before we take the vote?
Well, I would say that if we're going to do that, then we're going to have to say that is new, because a lot of people just regurgitate the same thing over and over and over again.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
And we're already here really late as it is. We don't need that.
What happens with the time limit then? Let's say you have 6 agenda items and someone talks for 3 minutes on the first item. Do they then?
That's what I
Wait
said before. How are we going to
Yeah,
keep track
right.
of that? That's not fair, because it won't take long for people to figure out, oh, let me take the opportunity to talk twice. So,
Right.
I mean, they should be limited. I mean, we can't have meetings that go on till midnight. Yes, Susan?
Could we have, this was another thought I was going to say because of other governments doing it this way, but the non-agenda item public participation can be whatever. I mean, that could be earlier in the meeting and then just wait until the specific agenda item for the other participation that anybody has. So
But what if people don't want to wait? I mean, why can't you have agenda item comments at the beginning if the people don't want to wait for item number 10 on the agenda? You guys have been sometimes talk about amending your minutes for a half hour.
Yes, yes.
that's fine. We can do, this is.
But
for
then
us
we have to
decide.
keep track, like they have to understand they're gonna get 3 minutes, whether they use it at the beginning or at whenever they get the opportunity, and they can't split it up, because that's just way time consuming and inefficient, in my opinion.
So
I
you're
mean,
saying the
I'm
same.
one
person
vote.
you're saying this, you don't want the same person to talk on 2 different issues. If something's a budget issue and something's a program issue with whatever.
No, that's not what she said.
I thought that we always had a rule, and I mean, this could be up for debate at another time, but I thought we already have a policy on how long people can speak during public participation. I'm not trying to change that. That has worked, and the supervisor has allowed additional time where appropriate. I don't think that that's ever been something that people have walked away feeling like they didn't get a chance to say what they needed to say in the time allotment. And I don't remember any time that we've had a meeting where one person speaks on multiple items. So I
Well,
don't
if
think
people
that
do
comes
want to
up that
speak
often.
on, if they do want to speak on 2 agenda items though, and you have public comment at the beginning, they can use a minute
Right.
and a half for item 1 and a minute and a half for item 2.
Correct.
But I mean, so we're gonna keep track of their time? I guess we can't. It's just. Susan, why are you suggesting this? Have you seen something that you think this speaks to? Like, is there something that has happened in a meeting where public participation was thwarted for some reason with the current rules?
I don't think people, like, I've had people say to me, well, you can't participate when you're in the middle of a discussion, like
Of course,
on an agenda item. So,
of course.
did
But
you
isn't
say-
that still going to be the case? I mean, when we're in the middle of discussion, we aren't going to we're not going to allow public participation. That's still not going to change, even with your proposal.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying they want to do? Is like, they want to argue about it with us?
Well, I don't know necessarily that it's arguing. I mean, when I looked at the way the library board, had their discussion and they went back to the audience like a couple of times, and Dave Schmidt has done it as mayor. So I just think it's more inclusive.
Schmidt
It's
is
more,
dead.
it's it's the government of the people.
4 or 5 years
for the
ago.
people. So I think that, it's not for us to say, it's like allowing them to participate in their own government.
But they are
When
participating.
have we not allowed them to participate? I'm just trying to understand.
Okay.
I mean, other than your point about like,
issues, abatement issues, things that levy, I don't think we, on those agenda items, they've happened very late in the agenda in the evening. Nobody wants to stick around, and I'm not saying they still might not want to because it's happening so late. I'd prefer that they come earlier. But if they knew, that it was going to be when it was going to happen, there'd be more opportunity to engage.
hey, Dave,
Yeah, the problem is that if they come in and they're gonna come in and sit down and we're in a meeting and they are looking at the agenda, if the agenda doesn't specifically say that they have a certain time to speak on a certain topic, many times they'll feel like they're being held out and they're not gonna raise their hand and say, hey, I wanna be heard before you make your decision. So it's very simple. If we have a motion and a second and something's on the floor and we debate it back and forth before we make a decision, is there any public participation before we make the decision? So we have public participation before we make the decision. I think the most public participation we've ever had was 4 people. So that, and if we limit them to 3 minutes, but there is a issue of time concern. But if we limit them and say, look, if you want to talk on several issues, well, you're limited to 3 minutes. So, spend your time wisely, that's fine. And that way they're able to speak before we make a decision. It just I think to the public, and from what the feedback I've gotten back from people, they just feel better if they feel more comfortable opening up. They feel less intimidated if there's a portion that simply says, debate, we're having the debate. During this discussion back and forth, is there any public participation before we take the vote?
Kim?
Well, but the public, of course, is certainly welcome to make public comments, but they are not supposed to be part of the debate per se. It's the discussion is actually between the elected officials. Our job is to listen to what the public says. And of course, they are welcome to speak their mind and say whatever they want and tell us their feelings on certain topics. But they're not supposed to be part of the actual discussion on action items. That is the job of the elected officials. Now, of course, we have to weigh what they say and we have to listen to them. But ultimately, we're the decision makers, and the meetings are not intended for the public to actually be part of the debate process in issues.
We're elected to govern, not rule. That's why they should be able to say, not part of the debate, but if they simply say, by the way, is there any public participation before we make our decision? I'd like to be able to.
They can make the public participation during public participation earlier in the agenda. I mean, it's not necessary to make it during each and every item. We can understand what they're talking about just as well in the beginning of the meeting, and of course, weigh what they're saying and listen to it for our own discussions.
You also have to keep in mind that it's their money. So that's why they should be able to make a comment, say, by the way, is there any public participation before we make a decision on how we're spending your money? That'd be a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, they have that ability right now, and
correct.
And they should have that ability. So I think we're just talking about whether or not to move public participation to before new business or any kind of action item, which, I mean, that is just common sense to me. And I think all of us have been saying the same thing, that would be an improvement. I'm not sure if we all agree on doing that for each agenda item in new and old business, especially after each. I mean, to me, I would rather hear the public participation before the action item. But I understand where you're coming from, that, if there's something after our discussion, if like there's something that we're either like misinterpreting or misstating, or if there's some clarification that could be helpful, can we maybe try this in a, like try to have public participation before new business, before each of these big headers, like before personnel, before public part, or before old business. Really, it's just before new business and old business. So can we just have public participation in two places?
That makes
New
sense.
business and before old business?
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that was my
Makes sense.
recommendation, actually.
No, it was,
Okay.
To move
no,
it
instead of just
before-
at the beginning of the meeting. That was the beginning, not just the beginning of the meeting. I think it makes a lot of sense,
No,
Claire.
no,
Thank you.
mine was before new business, which I
Before
agree
new
with
business,
Clint.
before old business, right.
Yeah, I'm saying before new
Can
business
we
and
call the
before old
question,
business.
please?
Yeah, I would agree.
May we call the
Susan, you have
question?
another comment? Well, Susan has another comment.
Expenditures,
Isn't
Susan.
debate supposed to stop when the question is
Go ahead,
called?
Susan.
after approval of expenditures is before new business. That's exactly where it is.
That's what I said.
Well, we're not changing
We agree
anything.
on that. But then you also have after each agenda item in new and old
Right.
business. And I'm saying, in my opinion, that's too much. And maybe it would work, but I think we should try it with, you know, new and old business in big chunks first before we have it in every single agenda item. I just think that's going to really lengthen our meetings unnecessarily.
The question
Yes,
was
Kim?
called. May we call the question, please?
Well, I think I called the question, right? As the chair of the meeting, I was still taking comments.
I'm
from
asking you
Susan.
if we can call the question. Can't any member call the question?
I don't know, but there's still people who are commenting. It's not like
Right.
we're tabling this. We're still, I mean, we're not going to cut off a trustee from
Well,
commenting.
I'm asking Carrie
and I
Lynn,
think-
asking Carrie Lynn for Robert's Rules of Order. Can any trustee call the question?
Yes, and each trustee is supposed to only be allowed to talk about the item twice. So you guys
Oh,
are
okay, well, I
little
didn't remember that.
past
Okay.
that.
Sorry, I didn't remember that rule. Susan, I think we're gonna have to call the question. You've talked about it a couple times. I've talked about it way more than twice. I think Dave has too.
What's the question? Is
Yeah,
it gonna be what you're proposing, Claire? Is
I
that,
can't understand anybody. Everybody's talking at once, so I don't know what anybody's saying.
I think he wanted a clarification as to what is up for the vote, and I think it's trustee Sweeney's original motion.
But I
But
tried
Kim
to amend
amended it. Kim has an amendment. I can't see you guys on my screen because this
I
other.
can't either. Susan, will you please take down your screen share? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, so what is the motion that we're voting on?
Well,
Did
go ahead.
trustee Jones' motion to amend get a second?
I don't
can't
believe.
Trustee Jones, can you please repeat your amended motion?
Motion to amend trustee Sweeney's, public participation proposal, to change the new, public participation on our agenda before new business for future meetings.
Can I ask for clarification? So you're amending the proposed new one instead of the board's current rules? Or are you amending the board's current rules just to move up participation at the beginning of the meeting?
Well, okay, so I see what you're saying. So we should vote on Susan's first, because my amendment is to just simply move public participation before new business rather than adding it between each agenda item.
So, yeah, so I think you don't want to amend her motion. I think you want to make a different, I think you should vote on her proposal as is, and then if that fails, then you can make a motion to amend the current board rules to move up public participation.
Okay,
The only exception that I said that to my proposal is number 3, public comment speakers shall be asked their name and spelling as requested. That's it, not that they shall be, you know, we can ask their name as we have done, but they don't have to.
So trustee Sweeney's motion is to
that's second.
adopt her proposed rules with the amendment that she's deleting that paragraph 3, correct?
Yeah, for number 3, instead of saying shall state their name, I guess be asked, because we do ask. Or,
And no address and not the address.
Okay, so
Susan, is
trustees,
there- Sorry. Is there anything other than this public participation in the, like where it is in the agenda, that's a major change from the current rule?
we don't have your current.
I mean, you restate a lot of what's already in our rule. So if it's just this one thing that you're amending, why don't we just amend the current rule?
That's what trustee Jones wants to do, but trustee Sweeney has a separate motion pending. So I
Right.
think you need to vote on trustee Sweeney's motion first. If that fails, trustee Jones can make her motion. Because I think I think your current rules have time limits and other things that
Correct.
this doesn't have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this has it, but I'm not sure if this is, okay, I see. Okay, let's go ahead and if we're ready, call the roll. On trustee Sweeney's proposed amendment to the current board rules for public participation at board meetings.
All right, trustee Jones,
No.
trustee McKenzie,
No.
trustee Carabota,
Yes.
and trustee Sweeney.
yes.
So now we have an amended, or now we have trustee Jones is proposal. And so that is, as I understand it, amending the current rules.
So she should technically make the motion now.
And
Right.
do we have that available to put on the screen? The current rules?
Yes, that's what I put up. Is that what you want to see, the rules that we had?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to amend our current rules for public participation as far as moving the public participation up on the agenda to be placed on our agenda before new business.
Okay, do you have that, Susan, to put on the screen? What paragraph are we talking about?
This is the 2016 rules.
Okay. So which paragraph are we talking about? 6?
You know, is there anything in the current rules that actually says where public comment is?
Doesn't look like it.
So I think we have to amend a certain paragraph or add a certain paragraph to this.
Well, you can make a motion to add a new paragraph specifying that public comment will be right before new business.
Okay,
I went through and looked at this in detail. I didn't like the threatening, slanderous, disorderly. I mean, I kind of changed that and made it more.
okay, so I would
positive.
like to
I
make a
wish Al
motion.
would have taken the time to go through mine because I don't know.
I would like to make a motion to add a paragraph to our policy regarding public participation to include public participation prior to new business as an agenda item on our agendas.
And I would move to amend to the language that Claire was proposing, that we have an open for comment at the beginning, open for comment at the end, open for comment before new business, open for comment before old business. I believe that was what Claire was proposing. So that would be my suggested motion amendment.
Well, just to clarify, I said not at the beginning, like before we do the bill
Okay.
expenditure review, but before new business and before old business is what really it comes down to.
So 2
Okay.
times, right?
Yeah,
Right.
before new business and before old business, that would be my amendment.
And they
Thank
don't
you.
have to wait until old business if they want to participate about old business before new business. I don't think, do we care? No, they can participate at the beginning if they want to.
Especially if they bring the Dunkin' Donuts and the coffee, they can talk all they want, you know.
Yes, I agree.
So that would be my motion. I have a second. I call the vote.
Any comment before we call the vote?
I I'm in support of that as a fallback. I'd rather see it on the agenda item, but I think giving the public a chance to participate at 2 times is better than 1 time. And
I
oftentimes
agree.
after votes have taken place, at least this way it's before new business and votes on new business and before old business. So I think that's
I agree.
compromise.
Yes, okay. Anybody else want to comment before we call the roll?
Mm-mm.
Okay, can we call the roll?
Trustee Jones,
Yes.
trustee McKenzie,
Yes.
trustee Carabota,
Yes.
trustee Sweeney.
Yes.
Okay. That brings us to officials' reports. Trustee Sweeney, would you like to go first?
I really don't have much in my report to comment on. I did have a question with Assessor Cry's report saying that the data was incomplete and not accurate. I did see what she prepared, and I'm talking about in as it pertained to the salaries of elected officials. We had discussed and talked about either looking at all elected officials, meaning that are assessors, or outside of Cook County, and other elected officials outside of Cook County. And I thought the consensus we reached was that we should look at Cook County because it's such a variance. I think it makes more sense to look as it compares in more neighboring areas, because we've got a lot of the county areas, the township areas. If there's 30 townships in Cook County, and down south and Thornton and some of the southern counties, I don't think it compares as much. But I think to consider outside of Cook County doesn't make sense when we talk about doing a comparison for elected officials' salaries. So I took issue that the data for the resolutions for officials' pay and benefits was incomplete and not accurate, because Dana had actually provided, and I had talked to her because I had done it and then she did it, putting the data together for the elected officials in Cook County. And while she didn't include every 29 of the townships, it was somewhat of a subset. I don't think her numbers were inaccurate because I actually reviewed them. So that's really my only board report I have for right now.
Bless you.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Jones, do you have any officials report?
Yes, I just want to congratulate the seniors department on their September 26th Autumn Festival. It was the first one of its kind. It was a wonderful evening. They did a great job. And we're so lucky here to have businesses that donated, like Lurvy's and Pesci's and Trader Joe's. And I want to leave anybody out, but I know I am, who were so generous in donating pumpkins and haystacks and corn stalks. It was amazing the way the senior department decorated. The band was great. Fruit Brauhaus. I mean, that was just fantastic. And the seniors had a great time. And unfortunately, now we're all going to be shut in for a while. So
Yes.
I just want to commend the senior department for doing a fantastic job once again. All our departments really do. So I'm not excluding them, and just hope that everybody stays healthy and safe. That concludes my report.
It looked like a great
Thank
event.
you. Yeah. Trustee Carabota, do you have an officials report?
I wanted to thank everyone in the township who's been working together as we continue dealing with the ramifications of the pandemic and government decisions as to whether or not we can function with businesses and function day to day, and what their reasoning is. And oh my gosh, it's constantly moving underneath our feet every day, but people are staying strong. One of the examples was we had the crop hunger walk, Park Ridge and Niles. The crop hunger walk did go forward. It did happen. People actually got out of their homes and we actually walked. It was broken up by parish. Each parish had their own division of the crop hunger walk. I, of course, participated with St. John Breboff's in Niles, and we did a nice walk and raised some money. Want to thank our pastor, Michael Meany, our deacon, Andy Byerwaltis, for all the work that they put into that. People need to see this type of positivity. And yes, it's getting chillier out there, but that's what the good Lord made jackets and coats and gloves for. So this morning, we said hello to our first minor snow. And it's time for us to get out and enjoy the good Lord's air. Remember, your parishes are there for you. Your township board, Maine Township, we're here for you. We're funding those charities, those 501c3s are working hard. We're here for you. So it's something for us to stay positive and keep going forward. Also remember our restaurants and our grills and our communities when we're allowed to have inside dining. It's really wonderful. It really helps them. And we want to see how many we can keep alive and well through the new year. So sometimes it's great therapy just to get out, get some eggs and ham and maybe a waffle or two with family or with friends. So stay strong. God bless you. Your parishes are here. We're here. So call us if you need us. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Susan Moylan Cry, do you have anything to add to your report?
I think you're muted, Susan.
I do. I put something in the packet to reflect what we've been doing for the last 3 months. And to be honest, our office has gone past our triennial reassessment time in 2019. We've seen a 14% increase with handling our residents. Of course, they're not all coming into the office. We've done a lot of things, with them on the phone. I have data that I'm accumulating now for our certificate of errors, so we'll have some kind of figures for that. But last year, we almost did $900,000 in getting back money to the residents of Maine Township. And going further, I did put a list in. I'm just really kind of surprised with Trustee Sweeney, with her list with DuPage in Will County. I just don't think that's adequate. I put a list out of everybody in the Cook County division, and it shows a different scenario with Susan's Trustee Sweeney. I think she just pulled something out of the air for what she did to.
Dana had provided it.
Stop you
Hey,
there
wait, you know
because
what?
it was not out of the air at all. We had plenty
You know
of
what?
data
Please.
that we were looking
You
at.
asked me for a report. Now you
Okay,
are
but
all
I mean,
jumping
I'm not
in on
gonna
what I'm
let you
saying.
just say
Are you
something
serious?
that's
Here it goes.
inaccurate.
It's disrespect for my office, disrespect for the assessor's office. And here it goes to show you, with both of you talking, when I am speaking right now, it's incredible. It's
You can't
unbelievable.
just say things that are not accurate, though.
What am I saying that's inaccurate?
That she
What?
pulled things out of the air that is not
For
accurate.
DuPage County and Will County, and making
Not out of
things
the
up
air.
and putting in something for everybody. You know what? I understand that the board discredits my office and thinks it's really a useless office. But you know what? My office is the most anticipated office throughout the year with all our residents, and they look forward to being in our office. I put the figures out. I have all the statistics. And of course, I know the board is not going to take that to heart at all, because they're not going to look at that. They're going to just pull something out that they want to do. But hopefully everything is on record, and certainly for even the office of assessor, whoever is going to be the next assessor, to reduce the salary by 37%. That's kind of obscene, isn't it? I would think so. And all statistics are here. I have everything and it's in the report. So I'm sure that trustee Sweeney's gonna probably say something against what I have in here, but numbers are numbers, and you cannot deny that the assessor's office is the most visited office in the township. And I did not hire anybody in this last appeal. I was certainly there shoulder to shoulder in my office, working with them. And we did an incredible job. And if you think otherwise, shame on you. So that's what I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes our officials report. And
I don't think the clerk said anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pete, I did see that you had a written report. Do you have anything to add?
Just something real quick. We have been receiving a number of calls, with questions on voting. So we've been fielding those the best we can. Speaking to my fellow clerks in Des Plaines and other areas, as everybody probably knows, the early voting numbers are off the charts. So we're certainly anticipating a record number of voters. And as a clerk, we're always happy to see that. Always encourage everybody to get out there and vote. So looking forward to Election Day and the results.
Thank you.
Also,
Carrie,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
did you have more to add? Dave?
Yes, I just wanted to say that to thank you, Claire, for running an excellent meeting tonight. It was very professional. It was very above board. It was very familial, as I always look at our township as being familial. And I look forward to more board meetings like this. And Carrie Lynn, also for your help, Peter, and everyone. I very much appreciate it. And Dana, thank you.
Susan. Are you muted?
Muted.
Please, mute her.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I just can't go without acknowledging one more time the work that Cleanup Give Back has done in the Maine Township community to continue to clean up in neighborhoods where there's a lot of trash. And it's just, it's amazing to see the volunteers grow and participate and really take pride in the neighborhoods and expand. So during this time, it gives people a sense of community and coming together outside where it can be safely done and, and grow. So it's definitely a benefit to our Maine Township community.
I agree. It's great.
So thanks to Donna Adam for that.
Yes, yes.
Again,
Carrie,
she's recognized with the Governor's Award. So she's one of only a few in the whole state of Illinois that has this pride that, has been recognized. So
Carrie Lynn, do you have an attorney's report?
No, I just want to wish everyone a happy and safe Election Day holiday.
Yeah, me too.
Yes.
And a spooky Halloween. There we go, Peter. Peter's got it. Look at the big pumpkin behind him. There we go.
Nice.
She's wearing orange, I think.
Yeah, Peter, you got to move one more time. It looks really cool back there. There you go.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Good money for that
So-
background.
We don't have anything for closed session, so does anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Pete, do you want to take the roll?
All in favor?
Aye.
I think that carries it.
Bye, everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks, Jan.